Alright, hello everyone. This video is a tutorial on how to open up a Rubik's clock. I have done this close to 10 times, so I kind of know what I'm doing, and I've tried lots of different things that didn't really work. I'm going to be showing you pretty much the easiest way I have found over a couple of years of doing this to open one of these up. All you're going to need for the actual opening is a pair of needle nose pliers. Something durable is preferred, as these things are very well glued together and will break something that is weak, like fingernail scissors or weak pliers. So basically how a clock is held together is there is two halves of this clear plastic case, and then there is a black casing inside that is held together with screws. This clear plastic case is held together by glue around this seam, and we simply need to break that to open it. And the way we're going to do that is by putting the needle nose pliers on the little bits of the clear plastic part. It's kind of hard to see because they're a little bit small, but there is a clear plastic triangle in between there, and you do not want to get the pliers on the black plastic because again, that's held together by screws, and you only want to open up the clear plastic right now. The best way I have found to do this is to put it flat on the table, at the edge of a table like this, because if you're trying to hold it like this and put the pliers in, it will want to roll around a lot, as it is a pretty much circular puzzle. So you just kind of put the pliers in there, again on the clear plastic part, and just hold it a little bit over the edge of the table, and then just push up on them, and it should crack open like that, and you want to do that to all of the parts. This can be rather tricky, especially if the plastic gets worn down a little bit like it does here, but you really just have to keep trying because it will go eventually. So once all of them are open, you can pull off the clear plastic parts of the puzzle as well as the colored inserts. And then you're left with this, and there's a screw on this side and a screw on this side. You just need a little Phillips head screwdriver to open those up. So there's this little sticker here that just tells about the trademark and such, and you're going to have to cut through that as it is kind of holding that black plastic together. The screws are what really holds it together, but this will hinder you opening up the black plastic case if it's not cut. Alright, so this is what the inside of a Rubik's clock looks like. You've got faces and springs for the edges and center, and the corners are attached to each other on this gear. And then there are the pins, which have these little plastic O-rings around them, and those just kind of sit inside there and turn all of the parts. You can take this all apart if you really want to. It's pretty intuitive to put back together. You just put the faces and the springs on the edges and the center part, and then the corners obviously go where the corners go. But I wouldn't recommend doing this, as it's kind of a tedious process to put back together, and there's really no reason to do it. You don't need to do it to lubricate the puzzle, which I will explain how to do in another video, which there'll be a link for in the description. Alright, so putting it back together, you can easily tell how the black plastic parts go together because of this sticker. It will match up, and you want to kind of get the pins set up because they're going to be what's go through first, and you just kind of want to line them up through there. It doesn't usually go that easily. Usually one of them will fall over and you have to kind of push it back up and pick it up and set it down a few times. You don't want to screw these screws in quite as tight as they can go. You want to leave a little bit of tension on it. This will help your clock turn a bit faster. So if the inserts fall out of your plastic casings, there is a specific way that these go together. So I'd recommend doing trial and error before you put them back onto the clock, because this will be easier. So you just try them different ways. There's pegs and holes on these. That one doesn't quite work. And then eventually, usually in the first 4 tries, you find one where they fit. And so then you just put noon facing the same way. It doesn't really matter which way noon goes, because they fit all the same way around the black plastic. I'm just going to put noon facing that way on that one, and then noon facing that way on this one. And then just put the clock back inside of the plastic casing. Okay, so you've got your clock taken apart and put back together, but you'll soon notice that this doesn't hold together very well once you break it. So this is where the tape comes in. I like to use electrical tape because it's about the same width as the clock and looks very indiscreet on the pieces. So being that electrical tape is kind of hard to rip with your fingers, you're going to want a pair of scissors to make a nice straight cut. And how I'd recommend doing this is putting it just out of the way of the wheel, because you certainly don't want it hanging over there at all. That's going to be very annoying when you solve. So put it there and then kind of push it down. And then once you get about here, you can kind of just pull it up and estimate where the tape is going to end, cut it there, and then push it down. When I put tape on clock, I only put it on the top and the bottom, because again, this holds it together a little bit more loosely and allows it to turn a little bit faster. And if you do get it a little bit over like I did right there, what you can do is just pull it up a little bit, take your scissors and cut a bit off, and then push it back down. So you should be good to go now. Mostly you'd want to do this to lubricate a clock, and again there will be a link in the description to the lubrication tutorial that I've made. That is it for this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Goodbye.